Over the last couple of days, your Minnesota Vikings added six future Hall of Famers. 7, including TJ Hawkinson. But they have a very solid draft class in the building. Jordan Addison, Mekhi Blackmon, Jay Ward, Jaquelin Roy, Jaron Hall, and Dwayne McBride, all going to add to the trenches and just get things done for the Vikings. And I fully understand. Draft grades are stupid. They haven't played it down yet. But guess what? You're still clicking on all the articles of the draft grades because you want to know how the analysts perceive how your team did versus the rest of the division, versus the rivals, etc. So, yeah, everyone's keyed up. Even though it probably takes 3 years to accurately assess a draft class, we want it now. Microwave Society versus Crockpot. So, yes, we're diving on into a couple of these. First up is from Chad Reuter over at NFLcom. Grand Poobah of the 7-round mock draft, knows every single selection. He actually writes the bios for all of them. It's really interesting. But final quick snap grade for all 32 teams. And your Minnesota Vikings check in with an A-. Now, we do have to say that the NFL.com grades are on a bit of a curve. Everyone either got an A or a B. Only the Lions got a C+ because of reasons. You think that a team that came in with the number 6 and 18 overall pick would have better than a C+, but here we are. So all the picks, day 1, grade A, that's Addison. Day 2, grade B+, that does include the Hawkinson trade, but Blackmon the final pick of day 2. Day 3 with Ward, Roy, Hall, and McBride, also given an A. This is what he wrote. Analysis. Addison will complement star receiver Justin Jefferson so well from the slot that it seemed the marriage was fate. Tight end TJ Hawkinson cost the team its second rounder, which may prove wise if the Vikings are able to extend or re-sign him next offseason. They will, or hell, this year too. Blackmon's competitiveness and sticky coverage met a crucial need. Ward is a tough-minded safety who can play some nickel for the Vikings, picking him after gaining a 2024 fifth-round pick when trading down. Roy was an excellent value in the 5th as an active interior defender. Hall is a developmental pass rusher, but passer. If he becomes a pass rusher, I'll be really impressed, man. He doesn't have the length, but flashed the velocity and accuracy of an NFL starter as often as some other quarterbacks selected before him. So there's been a lot of high praise around Jaron Hall and the Vikings pick. McBride went 2 rounds later than I expected, the FBS rushing champ. So Chad Reuter, super fired up about it. Let's see. Again, very generous with the grading, man. All right, so this is, even though if this is like an Asian parent, it's like, oh, B+, I mean, you're going to be homeless if this doesn't turn into A. All right, so the Packers, yeah, okay, drafting 17 tight ends, Luke Van Ness versus JSN. Yeah, okay, they got my guy Carl Brooks. They also drafted Anders Carlson, which is a fantastic troll because, ironically, it was the game against the Packers, the tie game, week 2, that got his brother, Daniel Carlson, cut from the Vikings, and then he went to the Raiders and became an All-Pro. No big deal. Then, let's see, anyone else? Oh, yeah, Sean Clifford, they're massively overdrafted, but sort of is what it is. Lions got the only C. So they drafted Gibbs and Campbell and Laporte. Now, this is interesting, where if they would have drafted Branch at 12 and then Gibbs at 18 and Campbell at 34 and Laporta at 45, I think people really think highly of this draft. But you get the same players, just in a different order. Hendon Hooker at 68 was smart. Broderick Martin was one of my favorite nose tackles, but now he's dead to me. And then Swordsall and, Bill and Mary. Yeah, Bill and Mary over there. So they got a C-, definitely got dinged for that day 1 action boss. And then the crooked Chicago Bears. You would think that the Bears, who had all that draft capital as well as a ton of cap space, would do better, but they got an A- too. Darnell Wright, I get it, but drafting for need versus drafting the BPA when they were at 9, Jalen Carter was on board. Okay, then Dexter and Pickens really shoring up those trenches. Stevenson I like a lot on the outside, long term with Jalen Johnson as well as Kyler Gordon in the slot. Rashawn Johnson might be their starting running back at some point this year. Tyler Scott, speedy. Noah Sewell, I like his attitude and tenacity. I don't know if it'll translate to the league, though, his skill set. Terrell Smith, they got our guy. And also they picked up Tyler Bagent as UDFA, one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft. But, of course, we're all about Jaron Hall now. And then Mel Kiper Jr. Did up his grades, the Grand Poobah over at ESPN. And this is what he wrote about the Vikings. The Vikings got a B. Again, Asian parent taking over. What do you mean B? That means you're going to be homeless if that don't turn into an A. Vikings just got 2 defensive snaps from rookie safety Lewis Seen, last year's first-round pick. And they entered this draft without a second rounder because it dealt for TJ Hawkins last fall. So while I thought for a little bit on Thursday they might go for quarterback Will Levis 23, they opted for a prospect who can make an immediate impact. Jordan Addison will fit in well as the number 2 wideout behind Justin Jefferson. He can run any route, and he can line up all over the formation. He just knows how to get open, which is the key, and something we could use a little bit more of. Minnesota went back to USC for quarterback Mekhi Blackman, 1-2 in round 3. I had that as one little bit of a reach with the better corners on the board. Rude. I like defensive tackle Jaquelin Roy, 141 in round 5. He can be a solid nose tackle. I don't see NFL starter traits for quarterback Jaren Hall. Boo. What is Mel? Who the hell is Mel Kiper Jr.? I love it, man. But he was extremely productive the past 2 years. I never mind a day 3 quarterback selection too much. Running back Dwayne McBride, 222, is my favorite selection for Minnesota. He's a top 100 prospect on my board. Hey, glad we finally got it right at the ass end of the draft, Mel. He averaged 155.7 rushing yards per game last season, and he can break tackles in the open field. He's not likely to be a third down back as a rookie, but he's a natural runner once he gets the ball. There's a small class, but as it fills a massive need, I'm just curious to see how much Blackman can play as a rookie because Minnesota has available snaps for him. And yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this class, man. Even though they came in short on draft picks, no second rounder because of Hockenson, no fourth rounder initially because of the Caleb Evans trade up last year. Then they got the Lions fourth rounder this year. No seventh rounder because of the Jalen Reagor trade. But Addison immediately steps in as your wide receiver too. Like him and KJ are going to hold things down opposite to JJ as well as TJ in the passing game. Blackman, I think Blackman is just going to work his way onto the field. I really do. Even though Evans and Booth hopefully are going to be back and healthy, I think that Blackman does have a shot to get some serious snaps. Jay Ward, tackling machine, going to play special teams at first. Maybe he works his way into the rotation. Flores loves multiple safeties. Jaquelin Roy, I think that his best game is going to be in a couple years. Add a little bit of good weight, add some lower body strength, and be a pass rushing nose tackle. Jaren Hall, I like the upside, man. I actually think that he's going to give Nick Mullins a run for his money for QB2, but that remains to be seen. And Dwayne McBride, usually drafting a 7th rounder doesn't mean anything for your starter, but since it's running back, I think that this means that Dalvin is potentially done here with the Vikings. But overall, very happy with this class, and some of the national media jabroni haircuts are down with it too. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings crush NFL 2023 NFL draft grades. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.